We've had two absolute torching series here today as a College COD League. And well, we got one last one, and I thought we had to bring in a little bit of a man from the South himself for this one. It's the Battle of Texas, baby. We got Texas State Esports. We got the University of Texas, Arlington, battling it out here. I'm joined by the man, Susano. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. I heard that there was a Texas showdown going. So you know me, I had to pull up. I had to be here live, get this thing going between UTA and Texas State. It's going to be a great night.
Going to be fantastic. Let's take a look at the head-to-head of these two behemoths going at it here, because we got one team that's found a little bit more success this season than the other. We, of course, have UTA currently sitting at 3-1, Texas State at the 2-3. And when we look at some of these map pools, I think there's something that really sticks out to me here, Susano, actually from two different things. Number one, we got to talk about this hard point. Right now, if you are Texas State, you're 1-3. Hardpoint is such a clutch game mode. You have to be able to lock on in. And normally when we see teams be really good at hardpoint, we usually see them have some success in the control. But that's not the case for these two teams here, right? You got 2-1, actually positive from Texas State. So while they can't find success in the hardpoint, the control is looking real good for them. Meanwhile, UTA, well, their hardpoint's looking great. They're 3-2, but it's a 1-2 on the control. But obviously, when I look at that S&D, that's where they're finding their success.
Yeah, and I feel like we're missing just this little thin line of between these big, details right now. And it's that clutch record. No record at all for either side. Dandra, what that tells me is both of these teams, they don't play around. They get things done. They get it done in a momentous fashion. There's nothing stopping the tenacity on their teams. Now, in the terms of Texas State, with that very mixed up record, it's either a great day for them or they're just not clocked into the gym. And they're not pumping those exercises out, especially when it comes to that hard point we were talking about. Everybody's got to hit that leg day when it comes to those rotations. And 1-3, not exactly the best thing when you've got a 3-2 UTA on the other side.
Well, you're definitely going to have your rotations on lock. Let's take a look at the map set that we have here for this series, because they are going to be so absolutely clutch when we look across our maps. We're going to kickstart it off with a Skyline hardpoint. You and I know how much of just an absolute slugfest this map can be, and how being on lock, setting yourself up for some of these points is really key for you getting some of those full 60 kills. But it's not going to stop there. We then move on into a Hacienda search and destroy. We're sticking on Hacienda for control, and then we move into a back half double protocol to round out this series. So this is really interesting to me, because I feel like if you're able to win this first Skyline hardpoint and you feel comfortable on Hacienda, very real possibility we see a 3-0 here, right? But if you are one of these squads that maybe you're looking at this map that you said, we need to get to this protocol because we like sort of the bigger map that we can really spread out on and really make some moves and kind of maybe have a sub slip on through and hit some of these timings. Great. Guess what? You also want to try and win this first Skyline hardpoint, okay? This first map is going to be, think, very, very key when it comes to the rest of the series.
I agree. I feel like the Skyline's really just going to be that litmus test to really see the kind of strengths that we're going to be looking at for both of these teams. The double Hacienda and double protocol has me a little bit worried, because if we do see such a mixy Skyline and then a much more sub-dominated Haciendas, the ARs could potentially come back within that map 4 and really bring us to a game 5. But like you said, you win the Skyline, you have the more comfortable subs, you got the better routes, you've hit those rotations, you know how to work the map. This could be an easy, quick 3-0 for the squads.
No, and that's kind of what we got to look at. Got to look at the eye test. Who is really coming out shooting here? I mean, when we kind of looked at it, we kind of mentioned Texas State. They're not looking too hot on their hard point. So if UTA can come out swinging, take this first Skyline, then maybe you can kind of stabilize a little bit where, yes, your control hasn't been great so far, but guess what? Maybe finally here on Hacienda, you're bringing in a lot of momentum. That could be the difference maker. This is going to be fantastic as we get ready to hop on in. Now, one thing I want to kind of talk about here a little bit, right? You mentioned some of the subs. It's been a hot topic here in Call of Duty land about, these subs, and especially a map like Skyline, and even we've seen it a little bit on Hacienda and Vault, which we don't have in this series, but like this ability to bring out 3 subs on the map. I wonder if maybe that's where we're seeing some struggles from some of these teams is they haven't really fully converted to understanding when to bring out all 3 of those subs, potentially even 4 subs on sub maps, like here on Skyline, for example. Like, these are the things you have to be able to make adjustments as a team, right? And maybe just for some of them, it's been a rough go of having to maybe bring out that extra sub. We know a lot of times that second AR player not always super confident in doing that.
I agree, and that's what I was going to mention, is that the flexibility of that second AR, though, it pays dividends in this game, very much so. Like you said, the subs hit some very crucial routes, and to be able to have that third sub, to really be able to get the narrative going, and especially coming from an AR perspective, where you're able to really maintain the lanes, kind of have a bigger UAV in that mindset, to be able to know where players are, know where things are going, because your main sub and your second sub, they're flying and frying, they're making routes, they're making moves, they're focused about what's in front of their iron sight. So that second AR, who's got that more taken back look, he's going to be able to really think, navigate, and be that kind of voice in the storm to really help out these squads. Because right now, looking at this map set, it's definitely going to have to come down to that third sub. Granted, the main sub will be the one to, set the narrative, set the pacing, especially with that Skyline hardpoint. But when you look at Hacienda Control and you look how rigid it can get, it's kind of a big problem if your third your third sub isn't exactly on par with that speed and intelligence that's needed.
Well, we'll have to see, because especially when it's here on this Skyline, we talked about the importance of the subs, but it also is definitely be important for that main AR to be able to hold some of those spawns in the back to be able to lock it on down. So we're going to go ahead. We're just about ready to hop onto the first lobby. We're going to get that set back on up, but that just means you get more times with us. Huge shout out to the U18 COD League for bringing all those people on over. We appreciate you bringing us some more viewers here to the College COD League. But as we talk about these 2 teams here, Susano, what are something that maybe you think we can expect here? Let's kind of narrow our focus here on this Skyline in this map number 1, because while when the game first came out, when we kind of first started getting our hands on some of these maps, this just felt like it was a straight up mix fest. Nobody knew what was going on. It was super hard to read spawns. Now it feels like teams definitely should have this figured out.
It's that classic old case of Vanguard boat cage. It's just that map that everybody always, everybody just loves the rage in the cage. They love that mixiness. They love the ability to see some slap shots, some right hooks in a bar fight type of instance. I mean, quite literally, there are bar fights that go down on the map within that angle with the ARs. The thing that I'm going to be looking out towards is that AR, that main AR, being able to hold down, especially the top outlooks, and especially towards piano. We often, underutilize that heady right there. We saw it exactly in the pro play at Major 1, how effective just that heady can be. Some would say it's a little bit snaky. That's up to the GAs to decide, not for me.
I mean, that's kind of a good point, though, right? It's these power positions, understanding how to play them on the map, especially when it comes to Skyline, that's so important. Being able to kind of hold some of those back spawns really can lead your team towards success, where you kind of set up beautifully. You're just able to fully slam yourself at some of these points that are there. I feel like it's definitely going to be a fun time that we are going to have. So I believe we are getting ready to hop on in to map number 1, loading on in here soon. Should be fun. Texas State Esports going up against UTA. Texas State feels like it's been a little bit of a rough patch for them so far this season, currently sitting at that 2-3. Would definitely love to even it on up here in this series against the University of Texas Arlington. You have a slow start here, but that's the beauty of the season, right, Susano, is that you got a lot of opportunity to sort of come online, maybe find some gel as a team, really start figuring out some of these maps.
Yeah, it's really what it is. The proof is in the pudding. You got to be able to get those reps in as a team, not only in the match setting, but also within those scrims. And when you look at a team like University of Texas at Arlington is such an esports hub. So much great talent is currently residing there that I expect a lot out of them. And talking about expecting, let's get this match going, because right now we got a hot Skyline map 1.
All right, already first off the rip, it's going to be Nisha gleaming first blood, as we're already starting to see some movement over here. Guaf looking from down below at Jim. They've been able to make their way onto P1, but we know it's all about trying to secure these spawns for P2 And already UTA trying to flip this map and get on over here. Ferg in the back, though, tries to stop that from happening. But for right now, it's Guaf making the play. Hopefully has maybe set your team up to get some of these spawns coming on in. Yeah, continue to hold this plat. Look on through. Some early success already for UTA off the rip.
Got massive success, and you've got Austin here, who's currently fighting for his life. This is a player that we've seen time and time again be that objective slayer, somebody who's not afraid to get hot in the broiling pot. And I mean, goodness gracious, you see right now, they start flying, they start moving, and it's off to the rotations we go as P2 now begins with UTA with a pretty good start, if I say so myself, Dandro.
That's a good start, but look at this. You got Guaf sitting in the back, and it's Texas State. They're going to be able to hold all of these spawns, so even though you gained basically half of the time that you needed off P1, you're not set up for this P2. Texas State, they're actually in a beautiful spot right now. You're going to be able to answer back. Looking pretty clean here. This is Doa. Slides on through. You got a man on his back taking a nap here. You're going to absolutely put him to bed, but it's Guaf on the point with a two-piece. Able to lock it on in. Can you find the three to secure it? Just holding on in, and you got the teammates finally answering on back here. UTA doing a great job of not letting Texas State get back on into this map.
Oh, and it's just COD timing at its finest. Teammates come through. Nice little assist. Only 10 seconds left, though, Dandro. You look already to the rotation. This time around, UTA, nicely done. They get themselves into the proper spawn. A bit of a split right here from the side of Texas State. But as you see there, an unfortunate 3 down. That clears out the point, and Texas State got themselves back into the driver's seat.
UTA spawning in Narnia off of that wipe. I've spent a lot of this time to make their way back on point. Texas State getting absolutely blessed here. And just like that, they will claim lead for the first time in this map. Doa playing on this bar, doing a great job. You're going to maybe go for the stun. You don't have the bullets in hand, but it's just a pinstripe kill feed that'll go into the favor of UTA. Give them the opportunity they need to fly onto this point. But look at this. Texas State, yet again, for the second time in about a minute, getting blessed with spawns yet again as they're holding this back. You can see Astonish sitting all the way back there towards the umbrella side, making sure that his squad is going to keep spawning on here. Maybe you can grab some of this scrap time, but for now, you really want to try and lock into this next point because you know that you're going to be able to soak it on up.
Indeed, and you got to get Astonish out of there, and that's what they do. They clean out the back lane. They've got themselves set up for this new. You got to look at number 6, Ferg. He's hanging out up top. He's getting a little vertical with it. Nija here trying to make some plays, but ultimately, it's Austin and Urgent that get the job done. They clean up the work, do the preliminary. Nicely done. This is exactly what we want to see. Textbook Call of Duty, cleaning out the side. Guaf here, nice with the 2 there. Absolutely cleans out any invaders to this room. And now we have a bit of a slower.
Guaf currently with the 12 and 5, just an absolute turret on any of these points. Says if you want to try and get any of this time, you got to go through me first. And there's a couple of those eliminations that show you why. But look at number 2 here. It is Guaf yet again on a beautiful wrap. Ooh. Potentially already setting themselves up to hold those spawns for this second set of rotations. Ferg, though, doing a great job shooting just some straight laser beams on the point. We'll continue to hold on through here as Texas State Esports will get some of the scrap. You're only around 40 points behind. Not a big deal so far as we go on into our second set of rotations.
Indeed so. We begin the second set, but not too bad right here. 110 to 67, just a 50-point differential. Already the plays go through, and you can tell UTA smells the blood in the water because they're just going for these kills. They are seeing red all across, but unfortunately, they bite a little bit too much off the steak than they can chew, and right now it's a bit of a choking moment, but you see right there, split spawns. That's going to be able to set them up for a big attack, but it is the back and forth as they go, and it looks as though UTA come out on top.
UTA, they got the spawns here. Yeah, get some of this time as much as you can, but you don't have to get too aggressive. You don't have to really fly on forward. You can see all 3 remaining members of Texas State. They got to play through that bedroom side. You got 1 up top, 1 down below, but it's going to be Urgent with a huge 2-piece that will stop you in your tracks. And as P1 comes to an ending, P2 will pop. Texas State already set on up for it, but Astonish, hopefully that maybe you can make something happen. You find 1 bottom piano, you fly on out towards the back, you bring them through. That might be exactly what you need for your teammates to fly on forward. It is a huge hero play from Astonish to cut on through, find the 2-piece, get your team spawns, get you on to P2.
And that's all it takes. It's just one hero play, one opportunity just to really flip the board on this one. And it's going to be a bit of a problem as now UTA, they're all going down one by one. No group attempts here. It's going to need to be a bit of a breath taker right now for the side of Texas State, but they finally break that 100-point threshold, and you look at it right now, it's all over the place. It's jambalaya. It's a ballroom blitz. Players are just going back and forth. It's all about winning the ones right here, Dandro.
I mean, UTA, they've done a great job. It feels like every time they've made the right play, they're doing what they can, but it's just these gunfight wins from Texas State that puts them in the opportunity to keep their name back on in. But for the time being, UTA, you've gained this 50-point lead, but it's basically felt like it's almost been 45 seconds every single point that's come on up. There's just been going back and forth. You can see we have this new hill pop here at the bar. Texas State trying to do their best to hold on through, but it's a full clean wipe on UTA. They'll be able to hold it on through, but it's immediately some eliminations off the spawn that will kind of force them off of it for now. Let the time tick on through, but so far, no real solid points here for either squad.
Yeah, nades are just going to be flying through right now as players are having a bit of a hard time here trying to maintain that establishment, but you will see number 8, Astonish, just holding it down. Teammates have been able to wrap around, but look around across the map. That's 1 and 7. That's a huge gunfight that's going on. They're going to choose to play the fight for another day. Not too bad in itself. They clear out the hill, 12 seconds of scrap time, but it's going to be Slody who is not going to take that disrespect whatsoever.
No, UTA, they're the ones that want to hold this back spawn now, but you got Doa trying to make some moves here on the outside. Can you cut down this person? No, it's going to be urgent. Stops you in your tracks. You've gained some control here onto the point. Starting to soak this one on through. Texas State, you get some of these close spawns, though, as you start moving on forward. Austin trying to maybe do their best to get some of these cuts. You make the read. They're not here. You drop on down, maybe play from a different angle, and it's just urgent right now. Trying to hold on through, iron up with the aims. Can you get any of these headshots coming on in? You find one. It's not enough to get two, but are the rest of the teammates there? Texas State, they've decided to come on in, flood the point. A couple of key gunfights will go their way. This is another one. Ferg for the last. Look at 20 seconds of scrap here, which will definitely keep them in the mix.
And they're not going to take this disrespect on the side of UTA. They're ready to slide through. They know he's in the hot tub. The wall bangs go through. They clean it out. No gainage there. 10 seconds going straight to the side of UTA. And at this point, every second counts as we get towards that 200-point threshold. UTA, they're already trying to fight for this next real estate position, but this rotation just not going to start as they get this third set in. But you look at it right now, and all the players from the side of Texas State, they've been holding that middle influence, just trying their best, but it just collapses because of how spread out they are.
I was just about to say, if Texas State can get some solid points here on P1, I mean, I know it's not a money hill, but just get any of that little bit of scrap that you need, that when you kind of get ready to rotate to P2, that will give you an opportunity to get back on into this game. But look at this. It's Ferg absolutely zapping from the top. You find a quick 3, and that'll put P1 back on into your control. You got still 20 seconds onto this hill, and you'd love to have that 20 seconds. It's going to put you immediately back on into the game. UTA spawns on up. They're pushing a little bit forward, starting to get some of this control, but it's not going to be enough as Texas State does a great job doubling on up, cutting down some of these players, and it's still Ferg on P1, watching some of these spawns come on in. You find another one. Urgent will cut you on down, but that might be all of the delay you need for the rest of your team to hold this one on through as P2 goes to pop.
And the horse blinders are definitely on the Mavericks right now. They are not looking at all around them. They're going straight into these fights without a single foresight within the purview. And right now you've got Guaf and Co. They're trying their best to get back to the sites, but for the first time in this game, Texas State's going to flip the narrative. They're going to get into that winning position, and you cannot give this time away as the kill board is just absolutely red right now.
Splody on a 5 spree. Hellstorm would be huge on this map for going to be able to find another. Doa will join you in the kill feed. And so far, P2, it's been all Texas State right now. UTA coming off spawning. They're kind of just throwing lives away right now. We get P3 ready to pop on over here. Knives just made their way onto the bar, but you're soaking up so much of this time. Texas State, you're 5 seconds short of being able to claim this one. This will be a huge gunfight. Astonish finds one. You need to be able to bring Anisha down here. There's that Hellstorm from Guaf. will actually be able to cut 2 on down. That could be the opening that you need. Pushing on forward, Guap finds 1. Jackal PDW in hand. You find the second. You whip it around. There's 1 in the back, though. It's Astonish. Could be the one to bring it on up here. It is going to come down to this hill. That is for sure. But Urgent finds a huge 2-piece to solidify UTA onto the point.
And they're sliding through right now. The horse blinders are on them. They're not doing anything to make that verticality their effect. But as I say that, number 8, he's going to go out towards the pool line, towards the jacuzzi. And right now, it's only 2 players left. This is the hope of the squad. Ferg slides through, and that's the time they need as Texas State comes back big time into map 1.
I thought UTA were about to do it, but it's just an overwhelming at the very end. Ferg coming on in, slides on through with the teammate. You rip them off the bar to take them on out. You only needed the 1 second, and I think that was really what the undoing was of UTA. They did such a great job of holding down that final point. They understood what they needed. Had maybe there been a little bit more opportunity, maybe like 5 seconds, you could have banged it out, maybe made some trades, kept it mixy. But for Texas State, they came on into this hard point, not looking great for them into the head-to-the-head. They're saying, guess what? Doesn't matter here. 38 and 25 for that player at the top of the score line. Really, really solid stuff. But that came down to the wire, Susano. And I think you and I both knew this was going to be a bang out. I don't think we would have been able to call how close it really was.
Definitely so. And I feel like that's going to be our first clutch factor or clutch record for the side of Texas State within that 9-point differential. I mean, quite literally, Dandro, we saw some insanity. UTA they had their foot on the pedal, and boy, they were driving the narrative from the beginning all the way towards the end. It wasn't until we got towards that piano hill that it really started to slow down, Daniel. They kind of forgot the basics and the fundamentals that they had, which made them so dominant at the beginning.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of times where I felt like UTA, they do all of this work to gain this position, and then I'm just watching 1 or 2 players just full sprint by themselves. They kind of get put into the mix, and it really felt like onto that 3rd rotation, that's where Texas State, I think, fully realized that and started really punishing them for it. It was their ability to find those eliminations and then be able to convert it to that objective time, where they were able to finally come back on in sort of around the 210-point score line, where they're finally able to take the lead for, I believe, the 2nd time in this series. The first time being, I believe, we only had like 40-40 on the scoreboard there. So it was like very early on they take the lead, and it's right at the very end that they take the lead and they clutch it on out. So Texas State doing a great job of coming out swinging here. And we're getting ready to move on into a hacienda search and destroy. Now, the thing is, though, when we looked at that head-to-head, UTA was looking pretty dominant in their search maps, and that's what has me a little bit worried here. It wasn't some big, huge blowout here in map number 1 that maybe gets them a little dejected. They probably understand a couple of their mistakes. They lock it on in here for the search and destroy, Susano. They might be able to answer back with their own haymaker.
Indeed so. I feel like this is just a moment where you have to just let it go by. Just dismiss it. Don't even acknowledge it. Hey, we lost by 9 points. It's all good. We come back into this next one. We go into this double map set, and we got to go crazy. I mean, search and destroy. We saw their career record definitely speaks dividends against the side of Texas State. But on the other hand, we just saw how spunky Texas State can be. The tenacity is quite literally an independent variable. They did not give up when the objective was in their faces. I mean, there's a theory in basketball called playing while down, and that was exemplary right there. They were down quite a bit at time, quite literally 50 to 60 point margins. That's a whole hill to be able to realize, hey, this game ain't over. The game is over once that thing says 250 or there's no time. I may be down in points, but I ain't out of options. And that's exactly what we saw there.
Well, it's also their ability to play as a team, I think, in those moments, too. We see how many time and time again where squads will get a little bit frantic when they are down there. They're playing good, but it's just, a couple of those mistakes, or maybe somebody makes that ego chow. They don't allow for the timing with their teammate to come on in to be able to win that gunfight. But it was some real fundamental Call of Duty coming out of Texas State there. I feel like towards that sort of third rotation of hills that kind of led them to be able to win. And I love that you bring up that point that it's like, yes, we've seen how dominant UTA can be in the search and destroy in their matches thus far in this season, but it kind of almost doesn't matter to me right now after we just watched that, right? So we have Texas State, who was up by on paper, maybe supposed to lose that hard point. Well, their backs against the wall. They're able to come out on top with that. If I'm Texas A&M, I'm looking at this, say, boys, let's lock this one up, because guess what? We're about to head to control in map number 3, and we know we're good at that game mode. So here you go. Lock it on in. Have your set plans when you come on into this Hacienda Search and Destroy, and try and lock it on up if you are Texas State. I think a 3-0 here would be a huge statement map from them.
Indeed. So, there's a common saying, it's, when it's time to fight, you fight like the third monkey on the ramp to Noah's Ark. And brother, it's starting to rain. And this is that moment. This is that opportunity.
What?
This is that opportunity to start fighting. And I mean, with a absolute just bullpit punch out of that first map out of Texas State, they can definitely get it done.
That's a real saying. You just made that up.
If I made that up, I am quite literally the Socrates of our timeline. I cannot lie.
I listen, I'd be okay with it. All right, let's lock it on in here, folks. UTA kicking us off with an attack, and it looks like basically a full fly down towards mid. Playing alongside this top side. Astonish, you're up here. A couple of those shots coming on out, but it's going to be Nyjah going on down. Thankfully, Austin will find their own. This will open up the A site just a little bit, but it's this full wrap from Doa and Splody here. You might be able to catch a timing.
The timing's looking pretty good. Oh, you do the shoulders. You don't lose any HP. Nicely done. Right now, you've kind of got these UTA boys currently stuck here towards this A site. And if you are Texas State, you've already noticed the objective space that's been relevant in your movements right now. So if it's not this alarm of the bomb, definitely that intel definitely gave you it. So now they got to make this play. They're all starting to move. Urgent.
Ooh.
Trigger discipline.
I like that a lot, but Waff goes down to Doa. Austin maybe in this gunfight. They're trying to win this 2v1. You're able to snake your way on out of it. Ferg goes down at the hands of Urgent. Austin answers on back. It's a quick 2v1 here. Austin just stay alive, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh. Absolutely puts him in the dirt on the chow.
I mean... Oh my gosh, Dendros. That is gross. Gosh, the repositioning, the reach out, and the body shots. I mean, goodness gracious. What are we watching here? What are we watching?
Tap on the ass. Good try. Good game, bud. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Little towelette spank, and see you next one, buddy.
All right, well, Texas State, it was your opportunity to probably put that one away. A couple missed gunfights. Unfortunately, means that you're taken on out, but it's your opportunity to attack here. There's some quick movements over towards the rock. Splody's going to be the one. Tip of the spear, you clear it on out. Can you clear out some more of this backside? You managed to dodge the stun. Hey, okay, but for now, it's just all about gaining that presence, and it's, well, Texas State gaining control. UTA taking their time, clear out the rest of the map.
And Guaf gets that nade touch right there. That's going to definitely give them a big representation of some damage, but it's going to be Austin from, goodness gracious, from the deep end. Oh my gosh, this guy's shooting.
You try and hit some of those deep range shots from Lambo, but you turn around, you find the player going to head to flank. But Texas State, you find two of your own. It's a 1v1. Going against Austin. Austin, you'll go out, you'll be able to find the Elim. Plenty of time to hop this bomb. It's a little bit of patience. It's a play towards the top. It'll be a second round here for UTA. Looking good.
I mean, goodness gracious right there. Ferg literally climbs up from Fountain. And the biggest COD timing moment of the series so far. You see Austin go, immediately dashes to his right. Gone. Out of sight. Not able to see him whatsoever.
UTA, even though they may have lost that hard point in a little bit of heartbreak fashion, they come out swinging here into the search and destroy, put themselves up 2 rounds in Hacienda. Austin, the man on your screen, on a 5 spree, and well, maybe they're looking to continue that there. You slide on out. You get the trade after Guaf goes down. You take out Splody. You're currently just doing a great job of just creating so much pressure on the map. And look at number 5. It's Doa out here on an island on this rock in space. Your UTA, you'd love to separate him out. Put this so easily into a 3v2.
Still 3v3 for now, but we look at everybody and it's just dead silence. Nobody moving. You can hear the water from the fountain trickling. And at this point, with 35 seconds left now, you have to think to yourself, if you are UTA, if you are the Mavericks, it's time to make a play. But unbeknownst to them, you have a player at every angle, and this could spell deadly.
Oh, wait, but Ferg.
No,
Ferg has moved on out. Astonish is the only one from that top plat who maybe could peek on out. Urgent will be able to move on forward. You plan it for you. Nigel's made their way into the back shed. Austin, some early shots onto that player. You hop up over the fence. You get some of that regen. You stay alive. Nigel finds Astonish. Other side of the map, 3v2. UTA hoping to run down this clock. You got to force Texas State to make a move, and it's Ferg getting a little bit lost on that fence line. It's Doa here trying to make the hero play. You're going to open it up with a quick elimination, and you're going to hop that bomb. Do we get the checks on in? We sure do. UTA able to make it happen. You got to think, Susano, it was a great setup from Astonish and Ferg there to just be looking at this bomb site. Ferg getting a little antsy. Rotates out through office. That's going to open up this site. Let them get the bomb down.
An audible was definitely made because not only did Ferg move, but you saw his teammates rally around that effort. They went over to the opposite side at B. What it looked like was a potential, sweep of action. It was just a misjudgment, and that's how they got into that A side quite easily. Austin, I mean, he's got so much kills right now. He's on an 8 streak. He's going to bring out that RCXD. Let's see where this one goes.
I like it. Just an opportunity on this defense to really clear on through. You'll get this information that nobody's really over here towards B. Unfortunately, while you're doing this scouting report, Urgent will go down. Middle of the map, and look, it's Doa, number 5. He's made his way in the back end. You hear this car going on out. Do you manage to find them? You do. Austin taken on out while you're in the car. Well, thankfully, Naja. Wait, hold up. Naja.
Wait a second.
Finds Splody. Finds Doa. That's a huge 2-piece. You bring this one immediately on back into a 2v2. Huge gunfights here, but Ferg playing alongside these back fences. You got the bomb down. You don't have to make an ego chow here. It's Astonished from the top window. You find one. Guaf is here, but it's a 2-man look from Texas State. Some great plays to keep yourself back on in it.
Yeah, very good play out of Texas State there. They knew that the RCXD was moving, and there was no ice given at all. So they just went out of their way. Might as well kill the sender, And unfortunately, that slaying power that UTA relied on so much from Austin just was not present because of the RCXD.
Yeah, I like the play, but to watch Doa just basically slip on through the entire B side of the map for free, you just can't let that happen, right? And so takes down your RCXD player, brings them on down. Thankfully, well, you got Nija going huge for a 2-piece there, but just a little bit too little too late. Texas State making the changes to be able to play that as a 2-man end the round. Let's get ready to hop on in. It's round number 5. As it is just, everybody's getting a little antsy here. I feel like as we get deeper and deeper into the rounds, trying to make some moves. UTA in this round, they're going to make some moves already pretty quickly. Bomb going down today.
The bomb goes down. Doa, nicely done. They clean out Guaf, but Ferg's getting some shots. We'll get hit from the sides here, but it's Austin who smells the blood, and he's trying to cut him off. He knows the angle. Oh, my goodness. He even finds him.
Gosh. This man, Austin, he's hooked on phonics because he's making reads like his life depends on it. 10-1 right now. It's looking good, and you can see Bomb is here. The defuse is out. You have to check Bomb, but unfortunately for you, it's yet again just another beautiful post-plant setup and a 2v1 from Texas State. I feel like what we're watching is a classic, sort of example here, Susano, that we see time and time again, where one team, you got these big flashy plays, you got players going huge, finding the timings, hitting the routes, and that's what UTA is really doing. But it's just some solid fundamental COD coming out from Texas State right now that's giving them these wins.
They're really big on the adaptations. They are massive in the adaptations on the side of Texas State. They saw how well those 3 rounds went for the side of UTA, and now they're making the moves. They are isolating players. They're running together as a duo. You saw it right there. The moment that they took out Guaf, that was some pure duo work right there. They got it done and dusted. And so now we look at it again, and they're running full 4-man spread here towards this A. Nice is going to throw the bomb, or the grenade, excuse me, but no dice. And it's going to even be a slide kill.
Get a little bit of loss in the aim assist there. That is for sure. But it's a huge element as Austin tries to make the retreat. It's Ferg just waiting on the exit. You bring down Austin, who's been the main slayer for UTA. It's Guaf in the 1v4. He'll at least open it up with one. It looks like they have the information.
Yeah, they've definitely spotted him. He is currently in Narnia. But, oh my gosh, if you're just going to throw away your life like that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Don't know if you have enough time to get onto this bomb, though. You're going to try and make this wrap. The hop is here, but diffuse time, not going to be there. Ooh. There's one more. Maybe you find the last one just to bring down streaks, and no. Thankfully, you find them, you cut them on down, but with that, it's been 3 straight rounds for Texas State, bringing this one back on up, tied in the map.
Look, it's a rough time. The economy's not looking good. The Wendy's 4-for-4 has now become a 3-for-3 in this instance. We're going back and forth. I mean, goodness gracious, Danjo. I mean, you look at the side of UTA, they were doing some absolutely good work out there. But granted, it was very much on the shoulders of Austin. And right now, he's not able to put himself in positions where he's going to be able to dominate like he did in those first 3.
Yeah, it seems like they've definitely figured out a way to shut down Austin, and that's exactly what you needed to do. He was having a hell of a map, and that's exactly what answer on that. Look at the aggression, surging on forward. You find one. It's just trades backing on forth. Splody around the fence line. The trades are yet again just back and forth. After all it's said and done, it'll be Austin. A 2v1, but it is just straight beams to the face. Hopefully you had your dinner, because you're getting a belly full of lead, that's for sure.
I mean, this is just great play out of Doha. They go for that big ballroom blitz. They come out victorious, and then they realize, you know what? Austin's probably on the flank. And they go for it. And, I mean, goodness, you just hear that headshot rip through the air. Just absolutely takes off his dome.
Here we go. Been, I believe, 4 straight rounds for Texas State, seemingly figuring out how they want to play this map. And it's already, they saw the play from UTA in that last round, said, hey, anything you can do, we can do better. It's a fast movement here over to A, and if you're UTA, you've split all across this map. Austin, though, the route man in the back. Okay, bomb actually doesn't go down. So that will be bomb dropped at you. As you're playing in the back here, you've now kind of sort of created this moment where you're starting to suffocate Texas State, but you've backed on up.
You're backing up, but Naja's still here. Good shots, though. We'll make it a 3v2, and Austin doesn't realize the player that's just right across the angle. They will be able to slide through, and goodness gracious, that was a fast movement. But now, 1v3 in this moment, Splody last man. It's not looking too hot for him as he gets caught out. All angles are being watched, and at this point, the Wolves got the hunt.
All right. UTA will stop the bleeding for now, tie this up into a 4-4. Great job from them in that round. Making some of those early reads. You get those early picks, and it just allows you to completely surround Texas State. And while you back up a little bit, guess what? The movements, they get read. You set yourself up for success. You bring them on down. A very clean round from UTA to show that they will not just get run over.
No, they will not. They will not go down without a fight. I like this, though. Nice little 4-4 as we get into this one right now. But you look at the map, a bit of a spread it out push, but a big play from the side of UTA to try and get this fountain dominance, this control, and shots will go through. Splody gets tapped on the head, I think, by a concussion or a grenade, but it's enough to give him a wake-up call. They get the kill. Nicely done. Reevaluate.
I like the immediate pick, and then you just go ahead and reposition there. You don't have to overheat. You don't have to even push on forward. It's just about staying alive. But Guaf. Ooh. Tries to find one in the back. He managed to get Splody, but Doe is there for the trade. Austin goes down the other side of the map. It's urgent. Bomb in hand in a 1v4, and you got an RCXD making its way around the map somewhere. Urgent, you got to live up to your namesake here, my friend, because, well, You got to basically pull off an absolute miracle to keep your team in it, but it's going to be 5-4 map point right now for Texas State.
Very interesting narrative that we're seeing here, Dandro. I mean, we talked about it before in the pregame. Both of these squads, they didn't have a clutch record for a reason. They're either clocked in and making plays and getting kills and getting the rounds in their favor, or they're not there. And right now, we're seeing some true unstoppable force meets immovable object. These two teams had such very synonymous, statistics that now it's being played out beautifully within this reaction.
All I'm going to say is it feels like UTA is definitely very movable in the last couple of rounds here. Look at this. The 4-man hit. Where's this top side? They've just gotten aggressive here. Nyjah opens up the door. Peekaboo, hello. You find Ferg? I thought you almost got out of there. Astonish will be able to make the trade, though. Put you into the 3v3. I'm looking at Austin. He's a little bit deep away from all of this fight. So as long as you make these trades, if you're Texas State, you're probably feeling pretty good. You've cleared out Rock, though. You're going to go ahead, plant that bomb if you are Astonish for top window. And I like this play. Get the bomb down. Back on up. Play as a team. Make sure nobody can be their top window. You're going to hear Guav get some of these shots off. You lose the fight. And it's all up to Austin and Urgent.
Not a very good situation if you are Urgent right now. You smell this problem, and instead they go and take it out of their hands. Austin's last man, 12-5. Dendro, he's got to get it going.
Austin, you found, kind of did a little bit of a do-si-do here with Texas State, but okay. Well, that's one way to end a search and destroy map. You're looking over towards top window, and you're getting your skull bashed in with the back of a Jackal PDW. Yeah, so please show us this, Splody. Show us what you did here. You were trying to go for the assassination, but it's just you miss it, so you get the melee instead. But either way, whew, what a search and destroy there. I mean, just look at this. It was UTA those first 3 rounds, but then Texas State, they go on a run.
Yeah, I mean, UTA, they got their nose out of the water a little bit on that 8th round, but Texas State, they just literally went back to it, started hammering punches at them, just getting those kills, getting those eliminations. And I mean, we saw some really good early gameplay out of UTA, but the adaptability out of Texas State to be able to reset themselves, realize, hey, we're not working together as a team, make an audible and get themselves into that position where they need to be to work together and to make a cohesive effort. And I mean, goodness gracious, Dandro, it was insanity.
I think what's a key marker to me, look at the first bloods. A lot of the first bloods going towards Texas State, and I believe that's what really helped them dive on in to being able to win this in a 6-4 fashion. Oh, wow. We came on in here in this series, understanding it was going to come down to the hard point. Well, Texas State, they're able to lock it on up, and in a record that wasn't looking too solid. When it came to the search and destroy, UTA was looking absolutely beautiful, but Texas State puts it right to them. Isn't it 6-4? And well, when we looked at the head-to-head, the only stat that really went in the favor of Texas State was on the control. They're looking good. They're playing great Call of Duty. I'm excited to see what they're about to do in this next map.
This is their bread and butter. This is their opportunity that they have been looking for. I mean, they've literally willed and manifested those first 2 maps with insane plays and good adaptability to their opponents. Now, in a mode where they're comfortable, where they've shown that they can make results, it's definitely going to be one for the night. And especially with it being our last matchup of the night, what a way to potentially end it out.
I don't think anybody would have saw this one being where it's currently at. So, friends, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be heading on into map number 3 of Texas State Esports, taking on UTA. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the College COD League. If you're just joining us, well, it's Texas State Esports up 2-0 over University of Texas Arlington. A little bit of a shocker, I think, to both of us. We thought this was going to be a little bit of a back and forth. With Texas State really clutching it on up. Let's take a look at the maps and how they got to this point. but they're potentially on series point, getting ready to head on into control. Help me break this down, Susano, because it's been 2 maps of really Texas State just keeping it on in there.
Yeah, Texas State has really been in that moment of the fight, really having that moment of inspiration, that tenacity factor, just coming in. And when it looks bleak and they're down in the moment, they're able to come back. I mean, we saw a 250 to 241 skyline where they were down 60-plus points at one point within the second set of rotations. Then we go to Hacienda where they were down 0-3. And they came back big time. And so now we keep ourselves on Hacienda. We're going to go to control, which is their comfort mode. So, Dandro, this is looking like the cake is being already dressed, and we're putting the cherries on top now.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. UTA, this is their time to shine. You mentioned it. We talked about it before the break when we looked at the head-to-head. It was kind of like an interesting story for Texas State, where hardpoint, they were 1-2. Wasn't exactly a mode that looked like they favored, but they come out, they just barely squeak by on the skyline. But control was the map that they were 2-1 on and have been looking very good. Let's see if maybe we can see why. They look great on Hossie on Search and Destroy, but control is a whole new pace of play. Let's see how they want to go ahead and play this one through. UTA, we're already seeing some players sneak their way on through this top side, and we know how brutal of a spawn trap you can start putting people in if you get there. It's Austin yet again coming alive. Trying to see some ticks come on through at the B point.
Yep, some of this problem is already starting to arise as now the first tick will be guaranteed. Nades are going to go through. Ferg's looking for this opposition. They clear it out. Nicely done by the end of Splody. And, well, shots will go through, and Nigel will be the one to take out Ferg, and Austin picks up another. So that's a 2 down, and already we start to position ourselves towards A if we're on the side of UTA.
You get some of those eliminations, but it's just Urgent making their way onto the point, and no other players getting ready to stack this. So yes, you start getting on in there, but it's not even a full tick. Nija, thankfully, up top, holding this one on in. It's a beautiful 2-piece. Guaf finds another on the other side, evening up some of these lives a little bit into their favor. You start getting on to the point, though. Astonish playing from downside U brings down Urgent, and Guaf on the point will get ripped apart. So even though you've been able to find your way onto this 8-point, you almost get 2 ticks on in. Actually, you do get 2 ticks, marching your way to a full capture point. Texas State doing a great job of at least trying to keep some of the eliminations in their favor, but it's a full 4 dead that will give UTA the exact opening they need to secure this point.
A massive opening at that, and Austin's going to be playing forward aggressive here, trying to let his team get that tick with its surety, but it's going to be Doa here. It goes for the contest. Nicely done. They clean out the house, and here's the one that'll decide it all.
Wow. Austin, a huge win there. You find the last final win you needed. Just when you thought it was Doa about to go huge and put the dagger in the back, it's Austin winning a clutch 1v1. That'll be an offensive round win for UTA. Looking beautiful. Seems like they were doing a lot better job. Something that we kind of saw them in the hard point lacking of, which was they'd find these eliminations. They weren't able to convert it to that objective time. Here, they're definitely able to do that. They play clean. You see them the second that they realize that they open up the map, they all 3 of them stacking the point, securing them.
Yeah, that's a great stack right there out of the gents on the side of UTA, and big props to Austin on a 7 streak now. He is closer towards that Hellstorm now to get himself going, but that RCXD sitting in the back pocket ain't gonna hurt either. And so let's begin now. Texas State already onto the attack here, and you see right there our beautiful overlay is 6 tiers captured for the side of UTA, and they've got to match that now as we head ourselves over to B.
And look at this, it's a full force of aggression. All 4 players flying on over towards B. You had one get cut on down, but Ferg with a huge 2-piece. That's going to let them start triple stacking this point, and this is generally considered to be the harder point to capture. So to do this immediately off the rip is absolutely massive. You're starting to match it on there. Astonish, this is a must win, but no, Nija and Urgent cut 2 of you down. They'll at least clear this back on down to the 2 ticks that you like to have. But still a great start here for Texas State Esports on their own offensive round. However, UTA, they are finding all of the eliminations, currently up +2 in the kill feed. All it's going to take is a full 4 dead, though, and Texas State definitely can take this B point.
Definitely so. And you see that aggression just being matched with the metal of its own, and UTA just putting down everything that's coming in. And Sploding's going to try to hop on point, try to create some pressure, but it's not going to be enough, as now we start sending these players back as we go into lobby, and we got to go back to this B. This 4-man push is starting to settle. Stuns have been gone through, so they got to slide through and get these kills. There's 2, and that's too much than can handle.
Waff with a huge 2-piece. Austin follows it up with their own. Just no opportunity for Texas State to get onto this point. And it has just been UTA cutting down every single bit of progress that Texas State has been trying to be able to make towards here. It's going to be one last ditch effort, but UTA, you're just set up too nice. Doa maybe tries to swing on out, but it's not enough. UTA, they come out swinging with a nice hot offensive win. They answer back with a strong defense. Are we about to just see a 3-0 control here?
It's definitely in the cards right now, and I mean, goodness gracious, every little attempt that has been coming out from the side of Texas State has just been put down almost immediately, Dandro. This is some aggression and fire from UTA that we saw at the beginning of that S&D, and well, in Texas State fashion, this is their opportunity to reset the narrative and flip the board.
Mav ups in the chat for sure for UTA, showing some signs of life in this series. Obviously, Texas State, they're here now. They're on the defensive side as we're starting to see a team kill actually come in towards that top hall side. It looks like everybody will get cleared out, but it's already UTA. They made their way onto this B point. You got Nija and Urgent looking to hold this one on and down, and we'll actually already even seeing some progress on the A point as well. A little bit of split in the 2v2.
And that's beautiful right there. They stopped that B tick from coming in. Austin still being a menace here on a 2 streak. They have not been able to find him. They're going to need to allocate some resources here, Dandro, to be able to get him out. But with everybody moving here towards B and stopping this momentum almost immediately, you almost got to think Texas State, it's time to hit the regain.
A little bit sloppy out of Texas State, that's for sure. As I say that, it is going to be 2 dead in the feed for UTA. Austin making a great play through this back shed. You find one, and you manage to stay alive just long enough, though. Splodey's going to bring you on down. You clear that back on through to 1 tick so far. Time starts ticking. Texas State, they've been doing a great job so far of not letting UTA run away in this round. And, well, the kills are finally starting to fall their way. Austin out towards Ruck. Getting a little bit slippery here. And, no, you do not make the exit. Doa will stop that one in its tracks. 20 seconds remaining on the clock. You got to make something happen if you are UTA here. But it just looks like Texas State is too set up.
Indeed they are. This is the tight control that we needed out of them. And, oh, my gosh. Ferg with the nasty 2 right there. That's going to be potentially the dagger to end this round. And all players are not able to get into the mansion. Word to Chris Brown. Why you going to hate outside the club? You can't even get in.
Wow. Texas State, I feel like maybe waking up a little bit off of that break, you know? You come on through, you go down 2-0, and, well, it's here on a defense that you're able to secure it. We know that offense, definitely very possible on this Hacienda. Some teams even preferring it. That is there. Texas State definitely have the ability to answer on back with their own offensive round to push us to a round number 5. They definitely want to make UTA work for this one. Let's get ready to head on in. I'll be curious to see where we're at on tiers capture. That is UTA definitely being ahead in that, but kind of depends on your personal play style. We've heard that some people love offense on Hacienda, like I just mentioned, so maybe if you're Texas State, you're not even worried about the ticks right now.
Indeed, and I mean, with the math, if you get all 6 ticks here, Dendro, you do secure the defense for this potential end of our rounds, but it's going to be urgent here towards top stairs, just absolutely laying it down, and Ferg will get taken down. That's a 4 down, and we reset on the side of Texas State.
Splody, though, making some moves here, just being absolutely slippery. You get lost. Being able to make your way back up here towards top hall, just clearing this one on out. Nija You spot one, it's a shoulder, but you're not going to be able to get the elimination that you want. So you got to drop on down below. As meanwhile, across the map, it's just kind of been a hail of blows. We are starting to see some progress over here onto B.
Ooh.
We do see one pick, and Astonish going absolutely huge. Trophy will get invested. You love to get that B point done and dusted.
You'd love to see it. And there's 2 ticks right there, 24 to 24 in terms of the lives. And right now, if you're Splody, you got to be able to play this front in a position. You get the kill, stop that positioning. And now all the invaders are on the site. They take out the players. It's up to Splody. Takes out one. Looking for the second. This could decide the round of this potential 1v1. But oh, it's Guaf who's getting the shots. Nice just here towards the back end. And that's going to clear out that B site.
Not just yet. Astonish finds one, but it's just the placement too good for UTA. Guaf does accidentally bring down Urgent with that nade. Is that enough to open up this point? Splody's able to clear out one, pushes in through the back fences, has made their way onto point here. You gotta stay alive. You almost get the team shots on in. Austin hits a wall bang onto Doa, but for the time being, Texas State trying to hang on in. Point is contested. Time not ticking down right now. Guaf just playing patiently, but it's 2 members of Texas State. They surge on forward. They find a huge kill onto Guaf. They secure it down. Another minute added to the time.
And already they've stopped the timer. They're on this A slot. Oh my gosh. Doa with a snatch of a kill right there. And they're making this one move fast. They are stacking it. Double stack. It's going to get 2 ticks now. All players are going to fly through, but shots will go through. Splody's getting some shots in of himself, and it looks as though we're going to be going to a round 5.
Wow. Texas State off of just some key clutch trades there. Felt like UTA got a little bit mixy, filing in one by one. And Texas State doing a great job. They find those eliminations and they immediately start stacking the point, and they just apply so much pressure to UTA by doing that. And it comes down to the final moments. But I want to highlight something that you mentioned. I mean, I guess they've looked a lot better on defense, I will say, on the side of Texas State. You maybe might want the offense, but for right now, if you did want to win that round, you had to go up at least one more in ticks total. So you are on defense, but I got to say that last defensive round from Texas State did look pretty solid. So let's see here, though. Potential series ending here. Or does UTA keep us alive?
We will see as we go now. Splody, there you go. Nice little nade. Takes out Austin. Takes out the Slayer right away. And it's just a back and forth pinstripe kill feed here. Splody, though, will get taken down. And that's a 3 down for the side of Texas State. UTA are up. Make that 4. And it's getting dicey now.
This is where it gets dangerous. You get all down, and you're going to go ahead and try and hold the spawn trap if you are UTA, but it's a little bit of trades here. Ferg, you may be able to make the play. You find the other player on the plat. You do. You could open this one up. There's one. The wall bangs trying to come on through. Can you nade up over the top? You have to reload, but thankfully the teammate is there for the trade. You rip them off the point. They were able to secure 2 ticks, but you'll clear it back on down to 2. They spawn on up, start making their way out towards Rock and Astonish. You get in some damage with a nade, but it's just not enough. But that's going to be the information for the team here. Noah playing on the top side. You got one down below. Nigel's going to be the one to find the elim. Just being annoying down here at the bottom, finding more and more eliminations. You got to imagine at some point you got to make your way over to B, and that's exactly what Urgent does. Gets on that point, starts ticking it on up. Is going to force Texas State to start moving their way on over here, but Splody is waiting nearby. Wins a huge one and starts the clear again. 20 seconds on the clock. It's 19 plays 16. But UTA, you don't have the opportunity to try and play TDM right now. You got to get on this point.
Yeah, with only 20 seconds left, the heat is on, and Guaf's going to be stopping the timer for now, give his teammates a little bit more time to play, but Astonish and Splody, there you go. Wow. That's a 3 down. Make that 4.
4 dead. It's one last push if you are UTA. But Doa causing chaos in the foyer. And it is just trades on trades. But that is all of the delay you need. It's one last movement here at the fountain. Texas State come on out with a 3 Oh, they were down in this control 2-0. It's a reverse sweep here in the control. They keep their streak running, going up 3-1. But more importantly, they come out with a statement series. They go up to 3-3 in the CCL. What a fantastic series.
Absolutely insane, Dandro. We talked about it at the beginning of the series, back when we started at Skyline, and when we got to that Hacienda. The adaptability of this team needs to be studied. They have been absolutely lights out when the wall is pressed against them. I mean, goodness gracious, 250 to 241 on the first Skyline hardpoint. Then we get to the Hacienda search and destroy 6-4, where they were down 0-3. Then in the control, down 0-2, and they go 3-0 in a row, Dandro, to send us off.
Absolutely insane stuff. Just some fundamental COD from Texas State the entire, way. I love that we saw, I think, moments of greatness from every single player on this team to really help them get them over the line on this series. When it comes to UTA, we saw Austin making some huge plays. We saw Guaf and Nija doing some stuff and around there. Urgent really trying to be that objective-based player for the team, but it just felt like they were relying a little bit too much on Austin to get going. When it felt like they had a lot of momentum in any of these maps, it was off the back of Austin really going huge. Sure, Guaf and Nija had their two pieces of their own, but it just felt like it was always a two-piece and to then immediately get traded and for it to kind of all this work be for naught, right? So I'd love to see UTA just kind of go back to the drawing board, do a little bit of auto review on this match, because they definitely had the opportunity to put this away, right? They just barely let that Skyline hardpoint get away from them. The Hacienda search and destroy. It's just a couple of those mishaps in the rounds where they just get picked apart a little bit too much. And well, go back and watch this one because you had all the opportunity to put this one away. I think we thought this was going to be a 3-0 control pretty quick. We'd be going to our second hardpoint, but it gets out of your hands pretty quickly, and it's 3 straight rounds from Texas State that lets them put the series away.
Very much so. Texas State can never be counted out. That is something that needs to be noted across all the CCL teams. Just because you have a team that, has that, very mixy record, can't count it out. You got to be able to close it out, just end it right there and then. I mean, I like what you mentioned. A lot of those plays from UTA were definitely off of the back of Austin, and very much so. Austin is a very notable player that me personally, I've been keeping up with in his time. And he's just been that guy. So unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's a team game, Dandro.
It is a team game indeed. Well, what a fantastic day of college COD we had here today. 3 beautiful series. If you managed to miss any of the earlier ones, I definitely implore you to go watch them. But we're still very early on in this league, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you're keeping up to date. Make sure you go follow at College COD over there on X. Keep up to date with all the matches that we have going on, all the matches in the future that'll be broadcasted here every Monday and Tuesday. You can find us right here on twitch.tv/collegecod for some more banger matches. But Susano, it's been great to be here alongside you for this last match. It was great to be on with Zep in that match right before this. It's been a fantastic day of Call of Duty. But that's all we got for you here at College COD. We will see you next week.